Those are the things that worry us about her.
I know.
Girls being out there.
Absolutely. She went to a birthday party today, and I said, Anaya, well, who's this? It's one of my co-workers' nieces. I said, send Daddy the name and the name of the park.
Yep.
Daddy, Anaya, you're in Berlin, Germany.
Right. You gotta have some place to start. If something do happen, you gotta have some place to start.
Absolutely.
Okay, we ready? All right, welcome back to Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox. We just had a great conversation with Okera Hollis, talking about transparency. And now, we have Khalid Scott in the house. So y'all know this is about to be a real conversation. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox. And we are about to get some relationship discussions with a counselor.
Absolutely.
A marriage counselor. A marriage therapist. He gonna get y'all straight right about now. Okay.
Got you.
What's going on with you today?
Well, as always, Xavier, thank you for having this venue, this forum for us to talk about relationships, because it's going to always value our interactions with people.
Yes.
And it's not just romantic relationships, it's about friendships, it's about the community, it's about with your family.
Yep.
You know, and it's never a dull subject matter.
It's never a dull subject matter.
And you know, what triggered today's conversation is I have mentees.
Okay.
And my mentees range, the youngest is 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
The oldest is 44 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
you still consider him a mentee?
He sure is, because he was.
He almost old as you.
I got you. We were 10 years apart, so he was 16 he was 14 and I was 24 when I became his mentor.
Okay.
And still here. So I wanted to talk about what do you call it? Generational relationships and dating for generations, right?
Okay.
Because I have mentees who are in their 20s and 30s, and I often talk to them about what's your forecast, what's your thought process regarding dating and marriage. And basically what I've heard from my mentees is that, well, we've watched you all go through this dating and marriage thing. And I'm not really feeling it.
Right.
I don't have the fortitude to be married to somebody 27 years and have to give them my paycheck.
I have watched us go through this because our parents said this is what we were supposed to do.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm really feeling it.
Absolutely.
So I feel them on that.
Absolutely. And the thing about the younger generation, though they hear us older people talk about them, and it's not always complimentary because we just think you all move, kind of different than us. One of the undercurring thought processes that I've heard from older people is that we love the risks, that you're risk takers.
Yes.
That you know your worth, and you'll let other people know what your worth is. So you'll start a job, and then if you're not happy in that job in a month, they quit.
They gone.
They absolutely gone. While me, I'm going to do 20 years at the VA.
Right.
Even
though Monday comes, you be like, oh.
Right. God. But we're the generation after the baby boomers. Mm-hmm. So we saw our moms and dads work at the steel mill or work at that nursing job or that teaching job for 35, 40 years. And then they had a retirement party with a cake and they moved on. So that's still etched in our heads. A little bit of money. Absolutely. And in fact, I had a coworker at the VA hospital. She passed last month. She was with the VA 32 years. She retired in December. So that means that woman enjoyed 8 months of retirement, and then she died. So all the money she saved up, all the benefits she gathered, now they're going to be passed on to her children. And she didn't enjoy it.
Yep.
So that's why I know for me, in 8.5 more years, I'm retiring. I'll be in my early 60s. And at that time, I just want to enjoy grandbabies and the gym. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say that, man, I worked 40 plus years, but I'm going to enjoy these last 20, 30 years, however long God has me on earth.
I just don't want to do that.
I know.
I never wanted to do that. That whole, and I know this is a whole different topic, but I just never wanted to do that. And my mom, she just really had a problem. So I'm the first string of the younger generation.
Okay.
The thought process.
Okay.
Because I started a business.
There you go.
I started a business, and because I just could not. I watched my mom and dad do that every day.
Yes.
And then, and I know what they were each getting every month, because at some point I was taking care of them both.
Yes.
And so the money that they got a month,
okay,
individually, neither one of them would be able to live on their own with just that. Oh, wow. Especially not with the medical stuff and all of that.
Got it.
And then what a lot of people don't know is that Medicare doesn't cover any long-term care. So like my mom is in the nursing home, Medicare doesn't cover long-term care.
Whoa.
And Medicare will only cover like the therapy and rehab if you're getting better. And you got 100 days to get better. After that, you own your own.
Wow.
So there is,
You want to enjoy life on your
I don't
terms.
know how you gonna enjoy. You done dedicated all your life and time. You got 2 weeks of vacation.
Yes. Absolutely. So again, it goes back to the generations after us, and like you just said, us, we've seen that happen. We've seen that pattern, and we said we want something different. My mom retired at 52. Why? Because I had Anaya, and my mother was a daycare director. And so when after Anaya's first year, when she was almost 1 year old, my ex-wife was like, well, now I got to go back teaching. And my mom, the first year of her life, she didn't work because I wanted her to stay home and watch Anaya and be that mom for her. And when we said, well, we got to look for a daycare, my mother was like, absolutely not. I'm like, well, Mom, you're a daycare director. What are you talking about? And she was like, no, you're not going to put my grandbaby, my one and only grandbaby, in a daycare, because I know how daycare workers get down. And I would have to hurt somebody real bad. Yeah. So she was like, I got things in place. I'm going to go ahead and retire, and then I'll be Anaya's babysitter and homeschool teacher. Okay. So from age 1 to 5, she homeschooled her and watched her, and it worked out perfectly because proof is in the pudding. When you homeschool a child early on, they tend to be very, very astute students. Okay. And Anaya has never received a B in anything. So it worked out in our favor, but my mom was able to retire at 52 years old. So it's something to that. Mm-hmm. So just for us to get back on the subject matter, what does dating look like for us in our 50s and 60s, and then going down to 40s, 30s, and 20s, right? And so I know for us in our 50s, right, dating has been a journey. It's been a journey. And for me, I've done well because I've learned the life lessons post-divorce, Xavier. And what that means is my ex-wife, she did me a solid. And what the solid was, she smacked those rose-colored glasses off my face. Uh-huh.
You realize you wasn't on the Huxtables?
Absolutely.
You wasn't on that.
It was not Claire Huxtable. I was divorcing. But I needed those rose-colored glasses to be taken off, and taken off the way that they were taken off, because I grew up seeing abused women in my family. So I've always had this mentality that I have to be very protective of women, right? But then as I've grown older and been, into my industry, which is social work and mental health, I've understood that both men and women cause their realities. Yes. A whole lot of times. Yes. I put women on pedestals, thinking women were always the victims. And that might have some credence to it, but then when you continue to want to be a victim, that's the difference. After you've been a victim the first time, everything else is you volunteer. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the problem lies, Choosing the same man. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I had to learn, once I got divorced, I became a client. I became the therapist's client. I became the lawyer's client. And I see how the system does not respect men, right?
Okay.
So it helped me become more empathetic to men and our testimonies and our situations. And so I don't go into that bashing men because of women. I go in and say, we both are broken. We need to be healed.
Very true.
Absolutely. So now going back again to generational dating habits and patterns, I have a mentee. He's 32 years old. In his 20s, like me, he was in a lot of weddings because his friends were getting married. He's 32 years old, and so far, 4 of his friends have divorced.
Good grief. Just
I want you all to hear that. 32, not 42, not 52, 32 years old. I had Anaya when I was 33. I got married at 32. So I was just into it. He's on seen 4 friends divorce already. Because what happens is it appears this younger generation.
Oh, they ain't gonna stay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, they ain't.
I saw my mom being beaten. I saw my dad get cheated on. I saw all these occurrences. I'm not going to live a lifetime with this. Mm-hmm. Bravo. Mm-hmm. Bravo. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then X us. You know, I share this all the time that 20 of my friends are going through divorces now. And people might not hit you all.
That's a lot.
20 people.
That's 40 individuals.
That's 40 individuals. And I'm not telling you now, let me add the children.
Oh, that's a lot of people.
Right. Then let me add the in-laws, both sets. That's a whole suburb of people.
Yep, that are affected by
this divorce. Mm-hmm. And when I'm talking to the 20 people and asking them, what happened? You've been married 20 plus, 25, 30.
And that's the crazy part to me. 35 years.
Yeah.
You have been through some stuff.
Yes.
And I kind of get it. Maybe the stuff that you've been through, you just decided, you know what? I don't want to go the rest of my life dealing with this crap. You know? But it just seems like y'all have grown through so much. This is just my thinking. Yeah. That is there some place somewhere where y'all can, and that's So now you're 50 and 60 years old. Yes.
So the thought pattern, or what's been said to me, even when I'm doing the marriage therapies, is that, Khalid, I wanted the Huxtable life. That show aired 40 years ago yesterday. And it impacted us, especially as young people, because we were used to the good times family. Dad was gone for a lot of us, right? Or if dad was in the house, he was a dysfunctional dad. He was a provider, he was a protector, but he wasn't really participatory. And now we know that we need him to be all 3 of the P's, right? So what happens is my friends was like, Khalid, I should have divorced Dwayne 10 years ago. But because I had little Tamika and little Taylor and little Tim, I wanted them to grow up with 2 parents in the house because I didn't. And I know how it affected me. But what's happening is Tim, Tamika, and Taylor are 20-something years old, and now they're acting toxic. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they saw mom and dad in that house fighting, being dysfunctional. A month ago, Xavier, 2 of my friends called me on a Friday. I was apart. A month ago Friday, both their 20-something-year-old daughters tried to commit suicide. Wow. For me, with a 22-year-old daughter, I was like, thank you, God, that you led me to become a clinician to make sure I social work my own child. Who watched her mom and dad divorce at 10 years old, right? Because every week I'm getting these phone calls. Khalid, my child has decided to live an alternative lifestyle. Khalid, my child is an alcoholic. Khalid, my child is on drugs. Khalid, my kid can't sustain a job. My kid is 30 years old and not ready to move out yet. Oh. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? Because it was a Claire and Heathcliff Huxtable in a house. But again, what did they see in that house that's now making them act out? You know what I'm saying? So there's a rippling effect, even when you're trying to do it, quote unquote, the right way.
Yeah, because and I've said this when we had conversations before as well. The Cosby Show was a show; those were actors. It was a script. It wasn't real, and that's the thing. So when you get into this marriage with this person, and you think you're about to be the real live Cosby Show, you realize that your script ain't the same.
Correct.
You don't have the script. You ain't got the right lighting. You ain't got the right sound. Your props is all messed up.
Right.
Ain't nobody else gonna come fix it. There ain't no sound person to come fix it.
There you go.
It ain't no prop person to come fix it. Wardrobe is not gonna come make you look right.
There
You got to deal with what is actually real and is actually there. Because Bill Cosby, and I'm not even gonna go into the charges or anything like that, but Bill Cosby was not Cliff Huxtable.
Absolutely.
In real life.
Absolutely.
And Felicia Rashad, I ain't heard no dirt on her, but I'm sure she was not Claire Huxtable in real life either.
She's been divorced twice.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So even they don't live the Huxtable life.
Absolutely.
So when you go in with that, but I never wanted to be the Cosby Show. They seem boring to me.
I got you. Absolutely. So now our generation behind us is like, when I talk to my daughter, Anaya, let daddy set you up on some dates. No, daddy. When my daughter graduated from college back in May, we were in the airport, and it was one of the guys, he graduated with Anaya, 6'3", dark skinned, African, Muslim. Both his mom and dad are doctors. His siblings are all doctors. He lives in Oak Brook, Illinois. He's getting ready to go to Northwestern. As I'm sitting there at the hospital, I'm doing the checklist. He hits all the boxes.
For you.
For me.
Right.
So when Anaya came home.
You ain't got to sleep with him.
Absolutely. And my daughter let me know that. and she was really effective. So she was like, Daddy, okay, I hear you, Daddy, but I don't need you to set me up. Daddy, I know we got an Arabic background and you were a Muslim, but Daddy, it's a different day. So I said, but Anaya, won't you just try to entertain the thought? Because you don't see dudes like him. I went to the gym, came back 2 hours later. She said, Daddy, come here for a minute. I said, what's up, baby? She said, Daddy, I called my friend who was friends with him while we were in college. So I said, okay. So I'm like, okay, but then she was listening to me. So she went to do a little investigation, because you black women are the best detectives in America. Right. Absolutely, right? She said, Daddy, he's known for sleeping with everybody.
Of course he is.
Even there was a situation at the school where him and some of the other basketball players took a baseball cap, had names of all the freshman girls. They shook their hat up, put their hands in it, and said, this is the one you're going to date, and this is the one you're going to sleep with tonight.
And notice how you changed your wording, because dating and sleeping is two different things.
Two different things. Mm-hmm. And so when she told me that, I was like, oh, wow. Mm-hmm. But I like how she listened to me. She did a follow-up, and her suspicions were true. Mm-hmm. And when she told me that, she shut it down. Because see, however I want Anaya to be married, I do not want my child to be miserable.
And so what you got to do is the opposite way, like my dad did.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew who my dad was.
Yeah.
And I knew that the dude was going to have to come through my dad. Right?
Absolutely.
And so I could be as attracted as I wanted to somebody, and I could play with all of those cute guys I was attracted to. I could play. But when I was going to get into a relationship, he had to have some substance. She going to have to find it. And then she going to bring him to you and be like, hey, Dad, this is such and such.
Yes.
Then you get to do your thing and be
Absolutely.
like, let me see what boxes you check. And then you get to tell her, hey, this vibe he got, this thought process he got, this ain't going to take you nowhere.
Gotcha.
Or like my dad would say, what you doing with this idiot?
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't know he was an idiot, Dad.
Absolutely.
But when an older man talks to a younger man, it's a whole different thing.
That's true.
Because she got my dad always told me, he used to hold me so much stuff, didn't he? Because I'm always talking about what he said.
Powerful.
He always told me, he said, you know, you can't fall in love with a man because of his wallet and his achievement.
Yes.
Because you ain't got to sleep with his wallet and his achievement.
Absolutely.
In the middle of the night when that man roll over, you got to want to be able to enjoy partaking in that. It can't be a chore.
Yes.
So like the way you were doing, like, okay, he check off all these boxes, this the one. Yeah. And then here she is with this dude, and she's like, don't touch me. No.
Yeah, miserable.
Get away from me.
Yeah.
So that's a powerful thing right there.
Absolutely.
Definitely need that dad in there.
Absolutely.
Y'all can weed them out.
Yeah.
But you the second string.
Absolutely. And see, look at the dialogue we just had. X, you've raised 2 full-grown women.
I have.
My daughter just became an adult woman. I need to hear this wisdom.
Okay.
I need to hear that wisdom.
I'm glad you're open to it.
And you're a daughter of a dad.
Yes, I am.
And so I'm hearing all this. So this is a full circle moment. And this is how we educate ourselves. So now when I'm sitting in front of my 30-something, 20-something-year-old mentees, and they're saying, Coach, I don't want to be a married man. I want to be a dad. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. Explain that to me. They was like, Coach, I don't want to get married, but I want children. And so then I go into that, do you not understand the challenges that brings on?
They don't understand family and legacy because most of our kids have not seen family and legacy.
Correct.
So how are they going to understand it?
Correct.
What is this? Is the statistic still 80% of Black children are born into single parent families?
Absolutely, or close to it. And so, but what they have seen and observed, I saw mom and daddy fighting. I saw my daddy have outside kids. I saw my mom and me and my siblings have to clean up after dad because he came in every Friday night drunk. So I don't want that no more. You know what I'm saying? Or out here in the dating scene, because my mentees are like former athletes.
Okay.
So they have a mindset. They're used to women doing what?
Everything.
Yep. Whatever. Now they're not on the basketball court no more. They're not on the football court. And it's like they got to put the work in. Mm-hmm. Then our women, our young girls, you know, they have strong-willed mamas that says, you don't have to deal with what I had to do with your daddy. You know what I'm saying? I raised you to be beautiful and brilliant and fantastic and independent. And you don't ever have to lower your standards just to say, I got somebody.
Right.
And so then when these two entities come together on a date, my football playing mentee is hearing Xavier's daughter saying, I like you, I'm feeling you, but you're not my whole world.
Right. What else are you bringing to the table?
What else are you bringing to the table other than the six-pack? You know what I'm saying?
And even if it's money, you need to have some, and I think that to some degree men weren't required to have those interpersonal skills before because they didn't have to, as long as they paid the bills. Yeah. That was their role in the household, and then they could go do whatever they want to, and the woman took care of the kids and, you know, took care of the house and all that other kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Because as much as some men want to tell me that women always have money and stuff, there has always been a discrepancy between what men made and what women made. Absolutely. And men were the providers in the household. And there was a time when a woman needed to have a man in order to survive. Right. Because she couldn't make enough money to survive on her own. But we don't live in that world no more. Gotcha. You know, we live in a world where a lot of women actually make more money than the men. Yes. You know, so you don't have to, the football player come up to you, especially if he's not in the NFL or NBA. You know, and he comes from he played ball in college. Okay, I played ball too. I got you. Yesterday on the playground. And we making the same amount of money from doing that, right? Gotcha. So you got to make me like you as a person. Right. And do you even like you as a person? Absolutely. Let me shift gears because you brought something to mind talking about athletes. So I'm sure you saw that controversial interview with Cheyenne Bryant and Cam Newton. I did see it. What happened? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so Cam Newton is the father of 8 children by 3 women. And I believe he really only has 5 or 6 kids, but a couple of those kids are But he was around since they was little. Right. Uh-huh.
So, but he says I claim all 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So he had an interview, and she's a psychologist,
Okay.
right? And basically, she held him accountable for the whole 2.5 hours, saying that, brother, even in your best intentions, you have 3 women, 8 kids. They all can't benefit with your presence.
Mm-hmm.
And so his counter reply was, well, all 8 kids live with me. Right, but all 3 mothers don't live with you. You know what I'm saying? So your kids still will have a lack of something.
Yeah.
And then what happened was, even though I think he tried to hold his own in the 2.5 hour interview, he felt a certain way. Why? Because he's used to what? Women who look like her. She's very attractive, right? And I think he's used to women curtailing to him who look like her. Because when I looked at the pictures of his children's mothers, they all look like they could be her sister.
Okay.
So here he is, he's looking at a woman who would usually fall for his beguiling ways. Mm-hmm. She was like, no, brother, you ain't that impressive to me. Mm-hmm. How dare you? And then she had interviewed Nick Cannon prior.
Oh, gosh.
And got on him. Well, I guess for me as a man, what attracts a woman to that dude? I get that he's attractive, he's a ball player, he's a millionaire, but do you not think of the longevity?
So, there's different kind of people.
Absolutely.
It was so funny because Okera just made a statement in the last conversation.
Okay.
He said that when he was younger, he hung out with a group of men, and this one guy would always say he loved gold diggers.
Wow.
And I said, why would he like gold diggers? He said, that's what we used to say. He said, but the gold digger, you know what they want.
I got it.
So you can use that to manipulate that situation to your benefit.
Got it.
So the thing that attracts those women to them is that whole thing. So those women are attracted to that. I don't want to call them gold diggers.
Right.
But they not messing with no broke. Nick ain't broke.
Right.
They're not broke.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that you can count on if you have a kid with one of those is that child support check, which is more than you might be able to make in a year on your own often.
But what about your child's fortitude, your child's foundation, your child's wellness?
I don't think they think about that part. I think that there's a certain group of women. I know for a fact that there is. Because I've worked in hospitality, and sometimes that includes the entertainment industry. I've seen the gold diggers, trying to get backstage, standing outside at the Bradley Center, we call it the back door.
Right.
So after the concerts or the games and stuff, all of us had to go out this one security exit.
Right.
It would be women standing at the fence. They out there.
Wow.
And there wasn't no men out there.
Wow.
It was the women out there trying to get the ball players' attention, trying to get the athletes' attention, the entertainers' attention or whatever. So there are a group of women, and whether they are considering what their child's future really looks like, I don't think that's it. They're thinking of, if I get with this entertainer, that's probably, I'm going to get this much amount for child support. I can live here and drive this and still have this and not have to do anything but don't even have to take care of kids. They probably afford a nanny at that point.
Absolutely.
Too.
Absolutely.
So it's just it's a set of women. That's not all women.
Absolutely.
But there is a group of women
that go with this. But what makes them those women, X?
They're looking for something that they didn't get. They're trying to fill a void. I don't know what that void is because the show ain't love.
Right.
But some people think that money buys you happiness.
Yes.
But you still, Nick Cannon's and this dude, like you said, the women ain't around. So the women are still laying it. Well, they might be laying with somebody else at this point. Yeah. But they're not with the person they had the baby with. They could be laying by themselves.
Right.
So whatever that void is, I don't know. What is that void?
Well, again, say we use Nick Cannon. So, his first 2 children are by who? Mariah Carey.
That was his wife.
And that was his wife.
Who he is enamored with still today.
Correct. And when you see those kids, they look basically healthy because Mama Bear is in the house. Mm-hmm. When they with Mariah, they're happy, they're singing, they're jovial. You know what I'm saying? So it tells you that, man, I did this with Nick the right way. What he did after me is his decision. But you're not going to bring my kids into this monkey show. You know what I'm saying? And I love that about her. She's being hyper protective of her children. And I hope women who do have children by a man who has multiple kids by multiple women go into that zone. And maybe they do. They go into hyper protective that, okay, child of mine, your dad, you have multiple siblings. You know what I'm saying? From whatever reason why your dad chose to do, but I want to know that you're still special, right? You still mean the world to me. You know what I'm saying? I hope they hold Nick accountable. But I guess, again, but that's number one or number two. When your child's mother number 7, come on, young lady.
Yes.
Come on, young lady.
I don't know why they do. I don't know why they do that. And ironically, I was asked to speak to a group of 11 and 12 year old, not year old, grade.
Also, juniors and seniors in high school.
Yes, that's it.
Juniors and seniors.
I was asked to speak to them, and I've been contemplating what I want to say to them. And this is going to be like an ongoing thing. And so there's so many things to touch on.
Yes.
But one of the things that I definitely want to touch on with the young women before they start making the bad decisions is that everything is a decision.
Yes.
And everything that your decision, it all builds on each other.
Correct.
So if you make this decision because this dude is fine and whatever, and so he don't want to wear a condom, then that means that you could either get something he might have, because unless you've done a test, you don't know what he actually has.
Correct.
Or you could wind up with a kid.
Right.
And if Trump is the president, you can't get an abortion.
Correct.
So now you got this kid.
Right.
What you gonna do with a kid and you don't even have a complete education yet?
Right.
How does that affect your life? I want to teach them that you have to make the decisions for your own body and for your own life. Don't let no dude tell you nothing. And I'm probably gonna say, because he probably lying, okay?
Yeah.
Because at this age, which is the truth, 11th graders, 12th graders, at that age, they saying what they need to say to get what they want to get.
Yes.
They don't have no understanding of being 28.
Right.
You know, which is kind of when you get a little more focused on the stuff you done messed up, you're trying to fix it, because now you're going into 30 and you really want to have a life. So you know you got to fix it. I mean, unless they just completely lost.
Correct.
There are those too. But, you know, you can't listen to a 17-year-old boy.
Right.
Because the only head he thinking what you can't see.
Absolutely.
Not at that moment, maybe.
Absolutely.
So that's
absolutely.
But that's what I want to say about all of them. When you the 7th baby mama?
Got you.
How you the 7th baby mama?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How you the 3rd? Okay, the 2nd I could almost see, because you might be like, okay, well, that relationship just didn't work.
Right.
And so we going to be different.
Correct.
Number 2 can kind of fool herself.
Correct.
But now when you get 3 and down, you just like saying, screw it.
Right. And then even if they come back, well, what about Sierra? And you're like, well, what about Sierra? She was baby mother. She was Future's child. She was Future's baby mother number 4. And then look at now, she has this Cinderella life with Russell.
Yeah.
And I said, that's one you can name.
That's one you can name.
That's one.
Because I don't know no more.
Absolutely. And if you think about it, if you go and do a deep dive, Russell was married. His wife slept with his teammate.
I do remember that.
Right. So they both coming from toxicity.
Yeah.
Thank God it appears that they worked on themselves and they got love for each other, but you don't always have that type of outcome.
And, you know, I think in Russell and Sierra's case, there's a bit, so sometimes men are just really attracted to some women.
Yes.
There's just like Nick and Mariah.
Yes.
Nick still loves Mariah. Whenever he talk about her,
it's endearing.
You just know it,
yes.
You know, even though they're not together.
Right.
And I feel like Russell, you know, because Sierra was who she was. It's not like she was nobody.
Absolutely.
She's somebody that we all know, you know. And I think Russell just liked Sierra. The rest of it didn't even matter, because he's who he is, and he can provide a lifestyle, you know. And he just liked her.
Absolutely.
And I really think that's the best way.
Absolutely, it
Because if you
is.
just like them, it really makes you want to work harder to make it work, because that's who you really want to do life with.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing with relationships. It's got to be somebody you want to do life with. Because life is going to throw you all kind of freaking curveballs.
Got you.
They're going to come. And you're going to have to flow with it.
Absolutely. But now check this out. I went and met with a group of high school girls, and I had a PowerPoint that was talking about relationships. Young love is what I called it. So I had the picture of Sierra in the middle. I had a picture with her and Russell, and then her with Future. And I said, young ladies, and this was at a CPS high school. And I said, young lady, these are two handsome men. One is a little bit richer than the other one. Tell me, young ladies, who would you date?
Did they pick Future?
Every one of them.
Why?
Because of the bravado. You know what I'm saying? Russell appears to be the goofy, the nerd.
He seemed a little boring, a little, Cliff Huxtable.
You know what, ass. You know what? Look. Right. But I'm saying, young ladies, but do you see how he took her and her child, future son, in? And you never heard him say, that's my stepson. Right. You've even seen pictures of them dressed alike. Mm-hmm. You see that boy hugged up with Russell and with a big smile on his face. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And you heard the controversies. So don't you all think y'all deserve what Sierra morphed into? Because now she has a great life with somebody who authentically appears to love her. Mm-hmm. Don't you think you deserve that? And the girls pause and like, But see, they don't think like that. Mm-hmm. And so I'm talking to my same 32-year-old mentee. He went on a date the other day. He said, well, the young lady, I'm 32, she's 38, 39, and she has a teenager. And I said, well, what's your thoughts? He was like, well, me and her could be friends. I'm like, well, explain to me what that means. He was like, Khalid, I'm 32. I don't want a ready-made family. I want a young lady who our child will be the first on both sides.
And he has every right to that.
And I said, you have every right. Yeah. You have every right. And this is what I'm hearing from my mentees.
That's what I tell the young girls around me. I've told her that. I told Z, I think you met Z.
Yeah.
Don't, because they don't have no kids. And they doing really well on their own.
Absolutely.
Don't do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing about choices. Talking about generations. I think us in our 50s and 60s, we're understanding, make the best choice for you now. Mm-hmm. Be a little bit more self-centered.
Yes.
Because now you let 26 years of your adult life go by with somebody who you cannot stand.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? One of my frat brothers, and I'm using this story because it's a cautionary tale. He just got divorced in January. He had been married 41 years.
Good. Jesus Lord.
He's 60, in his late 60s.
What are you
going to do? Well, wait till you hear this story, because this is a Lifetime Tubi movie. So he got divorced in January. He got engaged on Valentine's Day. To a new woman.
So he met a chick after he got divorced.
I would assume while he was going through the divorce process. Well, I don't have to assume, he told me. While he was separated from his soon-to-be ex-wife, he met this young lady. So then I said, Frat, tell me this, man. Why not take some you time?
Yes.
A year. Even if the minimum 6 months, go into therapy, see somebody like me, sit on my couch. Think about because altogether they was together 43 years. Good. So for 43 years, since your early 20s, you was with this one person.
And that's why he get married again.
And that's what he said. He said, Khalid, I'm not going to be alone at 68 years old. I can't. And his 2 adult children don't talk to him right now. Because in their head, you must have cheated on mama. Here we are. We got mama sitting in her room crying every day because y'all divorced. But you divorced mama and got engaged a month later. So that means you was really doing mama dirty.
Yeah, that don't look good at all.
And then I told him, do this for me, brother. Have a long engagement. And with the long engagement, do individual therapy to work out the toxicity that you developed and the dysfunction that you developed over the 42 years.
Because something wrong with her too.
Correct.
Why you gonna marry this dude who just got divorced?
68
You
years
don't even
old
think that he needs
with a good
to get
pension plan, right?
Well, see, that's another story.
Absolutely.
That pension
So in
plan-
her head is a win-win.
Yep, because if he kicked the bucket, then she got his pension.
Absolutely. And I don't need your kids to be in it. So that means everything to come to me then. But then I said, go to couples counseling with her because she needs to be prepared for you. You are set in your ways at 68 years old.
Yep.
And the way you interacted with that wife of yours for 43 years, you're going to move it over to
right
her.
on over because he ain't had a chance to even acknowledge
Absolutely.
his own stuff.
Absolutely. But understand, as another man hearing another man, I've never heard a man say out of his mouth verbally, I don't want to be alone. Now, most men think like him because all 15 of my male clients in my private practice, they are in therapy because of relationship issues. So please don't get it twisted, ladies. Men are concerned about their relationship status too.
Well, I believe that men don't want to be alone.
Absolutely.
But the reason that I believe that is because, you already know who my daddy and my uncles were. And so for all my life, I've seen men make sure they had a woman around. I mean, it wasn't hard to have one around.
Yeah.
But they've always had, they're not going to be alone.
Correct.
And anytime so I do, I'm in events and all that stuff. I'm an only child.
Okay.
And so it's Karen. So earlier we were talking about, because I said, I got to have my me time. I got to be alone sometimes.
Correct.
I just want to be I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to get away from everybody. Just leave me all the way alone.
Right.
And I say it's because I'm only child. But on the other hand, only kids also often like to have people around a lot.
Yes.
And so, I have events and I love conversation, so I started doing the show.
Yeah.
So I make it so that I have people around as well. So I know what it looked like when you're orchestrating having people around you.
Correct.
And when I think back, because the good thing about having experienced stuff is you get to look back and understand it from a different viewpoint.
Right.
And so as I see, my uncles and stuff, having that main chick, but at some family gatherings and barbecues, there was this other little chick that floated
Yes.
through,
Yes.
And so they kept somebody, maybe the main chick was sick, maybe she was out of town, but he wasn't going to be by himself.
Yes.
He didn't have to be by himself because there's always another one waiting, And I think that most men don't want to be alone. I think that is definitely I think that's more so than women.
Absolutely. Because it benefits us being with you all. Let me say that again. It benefits us having women around. If I had a decent grandmama, if I had a decent mama, decent aunties, decent sisters, they started the pattern of being taken care of by a woman.
Yeah.
Then if I had a halfway decent wife, it perpetuated the thought of having somebody. It's something to go to work every day and the toilet paper in the pantry. The food is in the refrigerator. The house is going to be halfway cleaned. My kids are going to have somebody making sure they're okay. So as a man, that's why more women apply for divorces than men. Using me, I had dysfunction going on in my marriage. I didn't ask for the divorce. My ex-wife asked for the divorce. I was going to stay married to Elisa Lynette Holman with her free spirit self. I was married to Denise Huxtable.
Oh Lord!
I thought I was married to Claire, but I was married to Denise.
Oh,
Woody, right?
Denise is everywhere.
Absolutely.
You don't know nothing about that.
Right. Because at the minimum, I got a wife at home. She, as far as I know, she ain't cheating on me. She drives me insane with her free spiritness, but I can deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want this interrupted. I don't want to see Anaya half the time now. So she would have never got a divorce. I would have never divorced her. And so when I'm talking to men, and even my buddies who are going through divorces, they're like, Khalid, my wife is the one who initiated the divorce. So no surprise. But again, that's why us men got to think about what did we do to cause the woman to say, I can't handle this no more. I can't handle you no
So
more.
I'm not divorced, but I think I told you before, I'm the one that has ended most of my relationships.
Wow.
And it's because, you know, O'Kara could take, because he was around for a minute. He watched how me and Will used to interact.
Yeah.
And he used to always say, you know, you got two different personalities. You know, because I love to cook, you know,
Yes.
and I was a housewife when I was married.
Yes.
And so the thing about it is I'm old school, you know.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, I saw my mom and dad, and, you know, my mom was going to make sure that there was grocery, there was food ready, even if it was just leftovers, you know, on Saturday morning or whatever. Dad just wanted to get up. But on Saturday and Sunday, she made breakfast. She didn't make breakfast. She made breakfast for me during the week. But Dad had to be at work at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, so women spend a lot of their time catering to the man.
Yes.
And you can almost perfect that.
Yes.
You know, because as a housewife, that was my whole thing.
Gotcha.
So I bring all of that experience with me. So if I'm with you and you around the house with me, or I'm at your house, there's some things I'm gonna do that's gonna take you to the next level with your house and your comfort level.
Yes.
That's gonna come natural for me.
Yes.
But then if you are not giving me what I need, and I tell you over and over and over again, because I'm only gonna tell you twice, because that's just my thing. Like, I'm only gonna tell you twice. And then I'm wasting my breath, because you heard me both times, right?
Yeah.
So now you're making a choice. You are choosing to say, what you need don't matter to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now, that flips everything.
Absolutely.
Now I'm becoming resentful, because now I feel like you've taken advantage of me all of this time, because you don't really care about me.
Yeah.
So why am I caring about you?
Yeah.
So yeah, if it's a divorce, or if I'm just breaking up with you, which is what I've done, it's time to let you go, because we're not invested on the same level.
Absolutely.
And so that's why women walk away, because she don't feel like you invested in her the same way that she's invested in you.
Right.
We having your babies going through labor. Do you even understand what labor is like?
Absolutely.
You don't, because you ain't never had it.
Absolutely.
But that's some bullshit.
Correct. Correct. And then, you know what? It's different circumstances. So for me, and I want people to hear me. So I grew up, and I've never, you know, held back with this. My mother was a mistress, right? So what's the word I'm looking for? It gave me a false sense of how a woman had to be. So let me explain. My mother was 20, Mr. Married Man was 45, and he was well-to-do. He owned 4 nightclubs in Chicago. So with him being with a 20-year-old and he had money, my mother wore a Anita Baker cut. Every Friday night, she would be at Mr. Kent's salon getting her hair did. My mother worked at the U.S. Steel, but her nails were 3 inches.
How'd she work there?
Because the men at the steel mill wouldn't let my mother do anything.
Okay.
Right. Mr. Lee bought my mother tailor-made dresses. My mother was a size 2'4". My mother had a house that looks like Karen's house. We had French pavilion furniture. My mother, because of my granddaddy, was OCD. She was neat and clean. Because of my grandmother, my mother knew how to make. And remember, she's dating a 45-year-old man. So every Sunday, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, green sweet potatoes, cornbread, sweet tea, and a German chocolate cake. His house shoes, his brown leather house shoes, was at the front door.
Wow.
So as a child growing up, what did I learn about women?
That we cater to men.
Right, and that you have to have a certain appearance.
Oh, that you have to have a certain appearance. Okay.
And so what happened was I married Denise Huxtable. So go back to you all how Denise was versus Claire.
Oh, yeah.
Denise was like, if I put a t-shirt and shorts on, I'm good. But because I grew up seeing Jane Kennedy, vanity, hair done, nails done, so I would always tell Lisa, baby, go and get your nails done. I'll pay for it. Go and get facials. My ex-wife had hair down to her butt. I used to send her to Yahia to get her hair done. Well, when you're a free spirit, that doesn't do it for you.
That doesn't.
So 9 years later at divorce court, she said, Khalid, you did not do me dirty. You were participatory dad to Anaya. You cleaned up the house because you OCD. She used to call me sleeping with the enemy. Because if you remember the movie, even the cabinets, the
Yes.
food, the
Yes.
food had to be facing out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The towels in the bathroom had to be lined up.
Yeah.
I was in the military. I'm a neat freak. So she said, Khalid, what you did wrong is you suffocated me.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to fly.
Mm-hmm.
So now my ex-wife is a world traveler. She's been to all 7 continents. That's why Anaya has been to all 7 continents.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't have done that with me because I wanted
Mm-hmm.
Claire Huxtable.
Mm-hmm. And you want to stay, me and you have that conversation because I told you I don't want to be in one place.
Yes.
I need to move.
Yes.
I need to be free. So
Yes.
I totally get that.
Yes.
And I'm the same way. When I put on some shorts and t-shirt and put my hair in a ponytail, it's all good. You probably ain't never seen me with my nails done because I don't get them done.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I know you ain't never seen me.
Right. But
So
see, but remember how I grew up was skewed because my mother was a trophy girlfriend. So she had to have the look. So I thought all women wanted to get their hair done every week and nails done and wear tailored outfits. No.
That's not important here.
That's not important. So, but then that's a lesson I learned because now that I date more people, I know to have a different type of expectation. Or I can have this expectation, but I'm like, Xavier, I like when we go out for you not to have dirty gym shoes on.
I'm going to have gym shoes on.
Okay. I want you to have heels on. I want you to have a sundress on. I want and I'll pay for you to go to your hair. Are you okay with it?
I feel like I need to go there.
It's a series of beauty shops here in Chicago, and they are Egyptians. So they got real popular in the 90s because they knew how to flat iron black women's hair to make it look like white women's hair.
Oh, that's where that silk press came from.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So the thing is, when I'm dating now, are you okay with that? I didn't ask Lisa, was she okay with it? Because my assumption is all women wanted that because my mother wanted it, right? But then you learn and you grow. So when I'm talking about generational dating, it's all based on our observations, our expectations, what we have seen, what has worked, what hasn't worked. And with the younger generation, their theme is, no, my happiness is first. And that's okay.
It should be. I definitely agree. When I got my life coaching certification or whatever, we went through all of that, allowing people to be who they are.
Yeah.
And that's very important because socially, we're conditioned to have these expectations of people.
Yeah.
You can have an expectation of what you want for yourself.
Correct.
And then, as we talk about, when we're talking about a night, the whole lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
Does this person fit into with you and your ex-wife? Your lifestyle was just different.
Yes.
And as much as you might be attracted to her, may have loved her, and she was probably attracted to you and loved you too.
Correct.
But then, especially a free spirit, and ain't she a Scorpio too?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's double trouble right there. She a Scorpio too.
Woo! Wow, that's why she was bobbing and weaving up yesterday.
This Scorpio.
Wow, right.
And to me, that's the biggest thing now.
Yeah.
Because as I date, and I've lived my life like this, I didn't plan it. I didn't plan to be a gypsy. I didn't wake up and be like, I'm gonna be a gypsy. But that's how my life played out.
Yes.
And I love it like that.
Absolutely.
So somebody that's like, oh yeah, we're gonna just buy a big house over here in Glenwood and we're gonna just live there the rest of our life. I'm like, no, we're not gonna do that. Let's buy a bunch of condos in all of the cool cities that, and then let's just move around and we can Airbnb them out when we're not there, and that's exciting to me.
Absolutely.
But somebody just want to stay still and come home and sit on the couch and drink a beer and scratch their crotch. I'm just...
Got you. But see, the important part is when you having that first conversation, when you dating somebody, you've had that 2-hour conversation on the phone. Or on that first date, you got to it behooves me to tell the young lady, I like women who love femininity. I don't like tomboys. I don't like tomboys. I've been around femininity all my life, and it works with me because I'm an alpha male. I can't fight a woman. Or if we're together, then we know how to work on each other's nuances where it doesn't feel like this. Second of all, I like somebody who wants to cater to me because I make them feel that I'm invested in them. That if you come home from a long day, now I'm a great air fryer cooker. Me and my air fryer are best friends. And I'm gonna give you that. You know what I'm saying? But I know because you've cooked for me. So I believe in the give and take. And because I do therapy, and I do therapy with couples, I see what went wrong. Is that people forgot to invest in them first. People forgot to hold your partner accountable. Or when they did something wrong, you forgave them a little bit too quickly. And you didn't hold them accountable, and you didn't make them really feel, you know, what they needed to feel to grow. But now you're in therapy, and we're on the last legs, and hopefully we'll make this work. But man, y'all might need to go into the Daily Center and end this. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I talk about, and we're talking about solutions. Self-love. Self-love and self-love again. Love you. Have the best affair with you. Because when you have the ultimate love for you, you have a standard, and you will see garbage 2 miles down the lane.
Yep, and you will not want to associate.
And you wouldn't want to associate with it. That's it.
You won't be baby mama number 7.
That's right.
All right, well, that little alarm that went off was our signal that our time is up. This has been a great conversation.
Absolutely.
As always. Thank you for being part of the show.
Absolutely.
And, I had to call you because I'm just like, where he at?
I know.
I get worried.
I know.
We don't see each other in person. Well, just that once a month. But you're so punctual, like me.
Yeah.
You so punctual. When it got close, I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you guys for tuning in yet again to Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox. And we're coming back one more time with Gina.